concerts and what your experience was like last night. Talk a little bit more about that. What was it like? What was it like not only with the choir behind you, but with this huge audience in front of you?
Well, yeah, it's, I've been able to, during watching, I guess it's just interesting, being so, just growing up, admiring this building with conference and just knowing that it just seemed so unreal last night. It was one of those moments where it was very hard to actually take it in and realize this is actually happening. It's just bizarre because when you grow up having respect for something, you just don't really feel like, those kinds of things, it just seems unrealistic because when you admire something so much and just grow up with it there and watching it, it doesn't seem like you're going to be there next. But it's kind of like with American Idol in a way. I grew up watching it and just seeing Imagine performing there, it seems so amazing, but you don't think it'll actually ever happen. And so this is just another one of those experiences, and I think it's going to be it already is one of the most amazing things I've gone to do, and I know it'll be one of the most memorable moments in my life because it's such a privilege to get to do.
Dr. Wilberg, David, and Michael, if you will. So the bar's been set. That was a dress rehearsal, and it was the greatest show ever, is what I heard. How do you repeat the performance and continue on with the performances left?
Well, as an artist, you're never satisfied.
No.
So there's always things that you think can go better, and that's one of the great things about doing a repeat performance of something. Sometimes you work very, very hard. You have one performance, and then it's all over. And it's a great thing to be able to do these performances several times because, as I said, you always want it to be better.
Well, I can only echo that too. And in fact, we are, you're not aware, but we're aware of little things, little glitches and so on. Only a matter of unfamiliarity that you suddenly find a camera in front of the monitor you're trying to read from, and you think, well, and also, the text has been it's been adapted to suit, I guess the personality of the speaker. And I woke up this morning, I was never happy with the first line, and at 6:30 this morning, it came into my head. So it's going into the show tonight. So, and I imagine this is going to happen, down the line.
Yeah, I just what they said pretty much is, there's always like, if only I had done this, or if I only could have done this better, why did I do that? I think there's always, which is always great. I think it's great to be able to always have room for improvement because you always have something you always have somewhere, a goal to have, because it seems like you never reach it ever. But I think that's kind of how it is for everyone in life. It's like there's always somewhere to go, which is great because that's what keeps you moving forward and keeps you working hard.
Michael and Dr. Wilberg, can you give us a behind-the-scenes glimpse of how this engagement came about?
Well, it's always a bit of a challenge acquiring guest artists. It's much of it's based on availability, so on and so forth. And we actually had some artists who we thought that we were going to be able to have, and then they were unable to come. And this was about the beginning of the summer time. And so we went to work again, and Michael York, I believe, we engaged about 2 months ago, perhaps. He was, I have to say that I haven't even told Michael this, but I just happened to see on television a glimpse of Michael York in something, and a light really went off. And 2 days later, I believe that we had made contact and knew of his availability and looked like it might work. And so it's somewhat of a bit of a puzzle in putting it all together year to year.
I think that's what makes this even more special, is the fact that it's not just this amazing event and with the choir and the orchestra and with Mac and Michael. It's the fact that of what we're celebrating and what we get to share with music and with the words and just what we're talking about. I think it's there's no other time of year that people feel this way, because it's so strong. It's such a special thing we're remembering, such a remarkable thing, and people can't deny it. It's there, and so just being able to sing about Christ's birth and celebrating that and remembering it and his life is so great. And I think it's that's just another thing that's very humbling to think about, is that what we're really celebrating, and just to see what an amazing way we can celebrate it it's really cool.
And for me, this, in a sense, was a sense of continuity, because over the last few years, I was asked to narrate the Bible, do the entire narration, Old New Testament. And I lived with that. It was over 550 hours of recording. It's called The Word of Promise, and it's an audio Bible with sound effects, and it turned out very well. And then I was asked to, of all things, to narrate Luke in the new, I suppose, Catholic Bible, which is wonderful, because Luke is such a great he's such a great recorder. I think he was a journalist, and he has a great sense. So to get to do Luke on stage was a sort of dream fulfillment. And also, I've just spent the whole year working on an album of prayers. So, one researched them and analyzed them and made a short list. And I'm happy to say that came out last week from Christian Audio. So it's been a whole year spent with these great stories resonating in one's mind. And it just seemed, in a sense, only natural to be here with one of the great Christmas celebrations that the world puts on. And as I said, I feel enormously honored and privileged to be in that position.
For each of our guest artists, could you tell us how you celebrate Christmas at home?
Oh, well, I guess it just depends on the year. We have a lot of family in this year, and a lot of my mom's side of the family, and it's more of a Latin culture, so we definitely party during this time. It's a lot of, just music and a lot of food and just a real celebration, and it's really fun to get to do. And we actually do a lot of Christmas caroling and things like that, which I think is really great to do. I think it's it's wonderful to get to share, and I think just being able to share music with your family and to see just people's faces light up and just see their smiles and how much it means to them. A simple visit and a simple song can mean so much to someone. I think it's really great to do.